Hello, Debbie here, and I just wanted to say welcome and thank you for joining me today. I really do appreciate you stopping by. I have been more nature botanically inclined with my card making recently. I don't often make cute cards. However, the bear in the Love You Very Much set from the recent February card kit from SSS Stamp had me. Well, the cute bear in that lovely big heart colour. I love colouring hearts and balloons, basic shapes, but you can really play with the shading and highlights on their simple forms. In this video, I'm also exploring the new mini slimline card size, and spoiler alert, I love its compactness. Here's the Love You Very Much set, and although I'm not using them, there are matching dies too. I'll leave links below in the YouTube description, and also there will be links and more detail in a coordinating blog post that I'll also link below. The set has a focal point size cute bear, and also a bunch of lovely sentiments, and even a couple of border strips too. I took a piece of Archer's cold press watercolour card and stamped the bear in antique linen distress ink. This is light water reactive ink that will blend with the watercolours I'll be using, and also because it's light in colour, then by the time I finish painting you won't notice it. I've learnt that it's best to put in details such as the eyes and the mouth with a black waterproof pen before painting, because afterwards you won't be able to see where the features are because of the ink fading and blending with the watercolour. My favourite black pens are these Micron ones. You can buy them in sets with different nib thicknesses. Zooming in so you can see clearly and onto the watercolouring. I use Daniel Smith paints throughout, in particular Pyrrole Crimson and Pyrrole Scarlet mix for the heart, and transparent red oxide for the bear. I use small round brushes to paint. I think one was a size 2 and one a size 3. Both of them are synthetic hairs, and over time I've found I like the bounce you get with synthetic brushes when painting smaller images. Natural bristle brushes are fabulously soft and have many benefits, but for me are best suited for when I want to lose the style. I'd be interested in your thoughts on the next subject. It takes me a while to paint, and to be honest, I'm in no rush as I enjoy painting. However, when creating a video, I usually speed the painting section up so that the video is more bite-size. However, I've had a couple of people comment recently about seeing the painting at a slower speed, and when watching my videos they have slowed down the replay in order to see the painting in more detail. And so for this video I thought I'd experiment with sections only slightly sped up and so look like they are more real-time, and other sections sped up so you see the image develop over a shorter time scale, and that the video isn't prohibitively long as a result. I am so used to speeding up my painting that seeing it at this speed is a revelation, and this is still at 2 times the speed I actually paint, so you can see now why it takes me so long to make watercoloured cards. My method of painting doesn't really change much whatever I'm painting. I start with a concentrated colour and spread that out, lightening the colour as I do so with a damp brush. Often I use 2 brushes to do this, one loaded with paint and one with water. This way you aren't continuously dipping your brush into your paint, applying it, and then rinsing the brush off in order to spread the colour out, only to return to the paint mixture to start the next section. I really encourage you to have a go at using 2 brushes in this way. It's almost as if you have 2 pencils. The loaded brush is your darker coloured pencil and your damp brush is your lighter coloured pencil. I'll play some music now so that you can enjoy the painting, and I'll be back to finish the card. I deepened the shadows with coloured pencils, and when I did this I realised I needed a bit more depth of colour to the bear. Finally, I took a little white gouache and I added a few dots to his cheeks and highlighted his ears and feet. Once I finished, I firstly cut the bear out using a pair of scissors. I liked how the bear popped off the ivory colour of the watercolour card, and so I didn't want anything too distracting in the background. Stencils are great for adding subtle details to a background without drawing attention from the main image. I attached the Tumbling Heart stencil from the kit with washi tape to the back of a panel of ivory card and then swiped white embossing paste through the gaps in the stencil with a palette knife. It never gets old to lift a stencil and see the results. I dried off the embossing paste and then trimmed the panel to fit onto a piece of striped paper, which in turn fits on a mini Slimline card base. I love how compact this new card size is. I used to make a lot of mini 4-bar cards, and for me this is perfect. Just a little longer version of a 4-bar card. 4-bar cards are 3.5 inches by 5 inches, whereas my mini Slimline card worked out just a tad under 3.5 inches by just a tad under 6.5 inches. I cut the card base to fit perfectly in the new mini Slimline envelopes that Simon Says Stamp is stocking. I added the striped paper panel to the card. This is cut from a piece of Simple Stories Sweet Talk paper pad included in the card kit. I then added the stenciled background panel, again with foam tape. I planned to have the bear towards the bottom left, and now it's time for the sentiment. The Love You Barely Much set has a number of options. I chose one which would fit on a sentiment strip that I could use to ground the focal point. I stamped the I super like you greeting in clear embossing ink on black card and treated it with an anti-static powder, and then I sprinkled with white embossing powder before heat setting. I trimmed the sentiment with a scalpel and ruler, which is my preferred method, as I like to line up the sentiment with the grid lines on the ruler before deciding where I want to cut. I trimmed the sentiment strip to be the width of the card base and then added with foam tape before adding the bear on top with more foam tape. Finally, I added a trio of heart-shaped cotton candy glossies from Hickey, along with a few pearls kept in place with Gina K Connect glue. And there you have it, a cute little watercoloured Valentine's bear on a mini Slimline card base with pattern paper and a stencil background to add subtle details. If you want to pop a comment below at what speed you like to see videos at, then I'd much appreciate any feedback. There are links in the YouTube description of the products that I've used today, as well as a coordinating link to the blog post over at limedigitdesign.com, where you find more details of this card. I want to thank you for joining me, and if you've enjoyed this tutorial, I'd be delighted if you give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to this channel. Also, if you'd like to get notified when a new video is out, don't forget to hit the bell button next to the subscribe button too. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.